Good morning, students. Now, as I told you in my previous lecture, something about Khushwant Singh and the summary of the story. Today, we shall take up the story in detail. This is for the Kala Nag, said Gangaram, pouring the milk into the saucer. Every night, I leave it outside the hole near the wall and it's gone by the morning. Perhaps it is cat, we youngsters suggested. Cat? Said Gangaram with contempt. No cat goes near that hole. Kala Nag lives there. As long as I give him milk, he will not bite anyone in this house. You can all go about with bare feet and play where you like. We were not having any patronage from Gangaram. You are a stupid old Brahmin, I said. Don't you know snakes don't drink milk? At least one couldn't drink a saucer full every day. The teacher told us that a snake eats only once in several days. We saw a grass snake which had just swallowed a frog. It stuck like a blob in its throat and took several days to dissolve and go down its tail. We have got dozens of them in the lab in methylated spirit. Why, last month the teacher brought one from a snake charmer which could run both ways. It had another head with a pair on eyes at the tail. You should have seen the fun when it was put in the jar. There wasn't an empty one in the lab, so the teacher put it in one which had a Russell's viper. He caught its two ends with a pair of forceps, dropped it in the jar, and quickly put the lid on. There was an absolute storm as it went round and round in the glass, tearing the decayed viper into shreds. So the story begins with the conversation between Gangaram and young students, and one of the students is the narrator himself or the writer himself. Now, Gangaram, he was an illiterate Brahmin, and he did not believe that Kala Nag could ever bite anyone if we keep on feeding milk to him. But the boys, as they represented the youngsters, and they were taught in the class also, they had a scientific approach towards everything, and they tried to convince Gangaram that the Kala Nag is really, some of the snakes are dangerous and Kala Nag is a dangerous one. They also told how the snakes were preserved in the spirit in their laboratory, and the teacher briefed them many things about it. Gangaram shut his eyes in pious horror. You will pay it for one day. Yes, you will. It was no use arguing with Gangaram. He, like all good Hindus, believed in the trinity of Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, preserver, and the destroyer. Of these, he was most devoted to Vishnu. Every morning, he smeared his forehead with a V mark in sandalwood paste to honor the deity. Although a Brahmin, he was illiterate and full of superstition. To him, life was sacred, even if it was of serpent or scorpion or centipede. This paragraph here indicates the progressive and the scientific approach of writer himself. The boy in the character in the story is a spokesperson of him, and that is why in these lines he says that Gangaram couldn't believe that snakes can be preserved in the laboratory. And as I underline one word, I just want to bring to your attention, students, at what writer says is, he liked all good Hindus. That is, he was being little, I can say, there is a humor as well as he's being sarcastic also by saying that he, like all good Hindus, believed in the Trinity of God, and that is Brahman. He was a Brahmin, and therefore he believed in Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Mahesh or Shiva as the destroyer. Whenever he saw one, he quickly showed it away lest we kill it. He picked up wasps we battered with our badminton rackets and tended their damaged wings. Sometimes he got stung. It never seemed to shake his faith. The more dangerous the animal, the more devoted Gangaram was to its existence. The regard for snakes, above all, the cobra, who was the Kala Nag. Now, the narrator just gives a hint about the general characteristic of Hindu believer who believes in coexistence of everyone, who believe that every animal in this world has a right to live, and therefore he protected them despite their being dangerous. Sometimes he used to collect wasps and try to rescue them because he believed that they also have full right to live in this world. He got stung, but he had no complaint because of his high belief in God. The point is that Gangaram, though he believes in the coexistence of animals, coexistence of everyone, but he was not aware of the fact that sometimes the dangerous creatures, they might harm us. He thought that if we protect them, they are going to protect a human being, vice versa. We will kill your Kala Nag if we see him. Now, students, the boys, sometimes they got irritated because they were never ready to believe what Gangaram was trying to profess them, because they have studied in their school that the snakes are dangerous. Snakes do not drink milk. Snakes, they eat, and if they eat something, they can survive for several days. So the narrator, he gives the challenge to Gangaram and says that, okay, we will kill your Kala Nag if we see him. I won't let you. It laid 100 eggs, and if you kill it, all the eggs will become cobras and the house will be full of them. Then what will you do? While we'll catch them alive and send them to Bombay. They milk them there for anti-snake bite serum. They pay 2 rupees for a live cobra. That makes 200 rupees straight away. Now, children, they also came to know in their school that the dangerous snakes are sometimes used for medicinal purposes. That is, their venom is preserved for making anti-snake bite serum. So they say that we can take these cobras to Mumbai, we can send them to Mumbai, and from there we can earn money also, the revenue of 200 rupees straight away. Your doctors must have others. I never saw a snake have any, but don't you dare touch this one. It is a faniyar, it is hooded. I have seen it. It's 3 hands long. As for its hood, Gangaram opened the palm of his hands and his head swayed from side to side. You should see it basking on the lawn in the sunlight. Gangaram listening to the fact that these cobras, the eggs of cobras can be sent to Mumbai. He just wants students not to do that. He wants young children not to do that. He said, you don't know, it's a big one, it's a huge snake which will bite you. And I have seen him often in the snail light. And the name of the snake is Faniyar. Faniyar. That just proves what a liar you are. The Faniyar is the male, so it couldn't have laid the 100 eggs. You must have laid the eggs yourself. Here we come to know about the use of, I can say, humor in the story. And children, they make fun of Gangaram by saying that, don't you know that Faniyar is a male snake and male snake cannot lay eggs. So if you are saying that you have seen 100 eggs, you are an absolute liar. And then by adding more humor to it, they say you must have laid those eggs yourself, because snake, if it is male, can't lay egg anymore. The party burst into peals of laughter, and every children, they were indulged in such sort of humor, and they were making fun of Gangaram. Must be Gangaram's eggs. We'll soon have 100 Gangarams. And children say, okay, then now we can be having, in near future, we shall be having 100 Gangarams, because these eggs have been laid by Gangaram himself. Gangaram was squashed. It was the lot of a servant to be constantly squashed. But having the children of the household make fun of him was too much even for Gangaram. They were constantly belittling him with their newfangled ideas. They never read their scriptures, not even what the Mahatma said about non-violence. Here we come to know about one more thinking or philosophy of Gangaram. Was he believed, he was an ardent believer of what Mahatma Gandhi professed everyone. And that was, he believed in non-violence. So when children were making fun of him, he couldn't bear that. It was very too much for him, and he thought that they are trying to belittle him. They don't know, they are not aware of Gandhi's non-violence philosophy. Because Gandhi said that nobody should be killed, we should not use violence, and we should let and live everyone in this universe. It was just shotguns to kill birds and jars of methylated spirit to drown snakes. Gangaram would stick to his faith in the sanctity of life. He would feed and protect snakes because snakes were the most vile of God's creatures on earth. If you could love them instead of killing them, you proved your point. What the point was which Gangaram wanted to prove was not clear. He just proved it by leaving the saucer full of milk by the snake hole every night and finding it gone in the morning. That is, Gangaram, though he believed in non-violence, he believed that if you feed Kalanag, Kalanag would not sting anyone, but still he was not aware of the fact, and that is why. Sir, ho gaya,